going on, guys? I'm going to show you how to wire up a line out converter if you're doing an amp install to your factory radio. The reason you need a line out converter is because your factory radio usually doesn't have RCA outputs. RCA outputs are going to basically give you low voltage audio signal so you can run RCA cables to your amplifier. The amplifier will then take that low voltage audio signal, amplify it, and boost the voltage up to be able to power your speakers. Most factory radios have speaker level outputs, which are considered high level. Not all amps have high level in, which is in our case, which is why we have to use a line out converter here. We have a couple different models. This is kind of like a very cheap basic one. This one just strictly takes high level and drops it down to low level. You got some higher quality ones like the LC2i, which will provide you a remote wire out based off of audio sensing. So you can run speaker level in. This thing can see the voltage changing through the speaker level and then provide you a remote wire to then run to your amp to turn your amp on. Not only that, provides you with AccuBass. So a lot of factory radios, the bass rolls off as you turn the volume up. This guy will basically see that roll off and fill in basically where the bass is dropping off. And then you also get more adjustability on increasing and decreasing the voltage. You know, depends on how much voltage you want going into your amplifier. And then it kind of has like a little maximize light or distortion detector, letting you know if you're pushing it too hard or not. This is really nice because you can get maximum voltage into your amp, which will usually give you much more performance and a higher quality sound. But like I said, in our case, for our customer, we are on a budget, so we do have to use the cheaper one. Cheaper one usually consists of about 6 wires. You got 2 brown, you got a solid white, you got a white black, you got a gray black, and a gray wire. White and white black are your left audio in. Gray and gray black are your right audio in, and then the brown wires are usually wires that you can ground if you have noise creeping through or like alternator whine or anything like that. Rarely do you have to use those if you route your cables right. But anyway, so this is where we're at. Basically kind of got it prepped up, put a little bit of split loom on it. We're only doing one single sub, so I don't exactly need the ability to fade left to right or anything like that. So what I usually do is just kind of twist my 2 negatives together, my 2 positives together. That way I can just tap into one speaker. Makes your install go a little bit quicker. You don't notice any kind of performance loss by doing this. So what we have to do is we have to get to one of our speakers. In our car we have a newer Nissan Altima. Forgive me, I don't know the year off the top of my head, but anyway, they got speakers up in the rear deck here. Now the benefit of that is we can mount the line out converter in the trunk, and then it's an easy run to run our RCAs to our amp. Just taking it a step farther, one thing we want to do is make sure that the speaker that we're tapping into actually has the audio frequencies that we need. So for our case, the amplifier we're going to tune to basically 100 hertz and below is going to go to our sub. So we need to make sure that this speaker is actually playing 100 hertz and below frequencies. Otherwise it's going to sound like crap if it even works. So I have a test tune CD which I'm going to put in real quick. It's already got it in. And then where's my track buttons? So basically I have a test tune CD in right now playing some Pink Noise, and if we look at our meter we can see that from 100 hertz and below is in fact coming from our speaker. So that means it is usable. So let me turn it back off real quick.
So now that we know that the frequencies that we need are actually, bear with me here guys, I'm sorry. Now that we know that the frequencies that we need are actually in this speaker line, we know we can use it. So let me take my meter off. We'll disconnect the speaker. And then what I'm gonna do is we just have to tap into the positive, negative. Now I already tested it. I know my green is my positive speaker lead. My blue here is my negative speaker lead. Easy way to test it is while it's plugged in. You can take a 9-volt battery and touch negative to one side, positive to the other side, and the speaker is either going to push up or it's going to pull down. We basically want it to push up, which means we have the polarity right. If it pulls down, that means we have our negative and positive reversed. So just take the battery, put it the other way, touch the wires, your positive, negative, and it should push up. That's an easy way to tell that you have the right polarity. Now bear with me here. So all you have to do is strip the wire back, which we got little automatic strippers. Just strip it back a little bit farther here. Now there's many different ways people tap into the wiring. They got wire taps. I'm not a fan of the wire taps. We usually like the A, military splice, or B, solder. Either way, if you make a good connection, you'll never have a problem with either one of those methods. But I'm gonna do both just to show you. So poke a hole through the wire. Take my positive off my line out converter. Splice that in. We'll wrap it tightly. I usually like to grab the wire and pull it, kind of like to really kind of get it tight there. Not sure if you can see that. So there's one. We'll do the other one as well. So I'll just poke a hole. With the both wires being bare like this, you absolutely want to make sure your radio in the car is turned off. Definitely don't want to short your radio out. So if you're going to splice them both at the same time, make sure everything's off. You won't have no problems. Alright, so give me 1 sec, guys. Alright guys, I'm sorry, I'm back. Had to go get my soldering iron. Best soldering iron on the market from Aussie Irons. You got the fast solder. These things are hands down, without a doubt, the best soldering iron I've ever used. Actually, I'll give you guys a quick demo on that while I'm doing it. So right now, not hot at all, don't even have it on. It's got a little button here, creates the short, so I'm gonna press and hold that. Give it just a couple seconds here. Couple more seconds. And there we go, already melting the solder. So we'll solder the wire up here, boom. And solder this one. Bear with me, I'm trying to do the video and solder. Boom, soldered up. Alright, now some people like to pull the pins out and heat shrink. If you're going to tape it, which I'm going to do here, at least get the 3M electrical tape. This stuff is amazing. So we're going to insulate each one. And kind of pull the wire tight, or the tape tight. Some guys just kind of like do a quick one wrap and you can pull the tape right off, but wrap it tight.
Where's the 8617?
It's under that cabinet as well. It's up top. You got those on the lower shelf. It's on the top shelf in the box. Sorry guys, got a sales rep trying to get some parts for a customer. All right. So got both your wires insulated. That way they will never They will never short out against each other. And then what I like to do, sorry guys, bear with me here. Obviously I'm not a true professional when it comes to making movies, but get my split loom. I'll show you guys. I know you guys got a poor view right now. But I like to wrap my split loom around the wire a little bit. I'll take a little bit more of my electrical tape just to keep it from coming down here. Tape it up a little bit so it doesn't do anything. And then actually I'm gonna go a step farther. Get some Tesa tape. This stuff is amazing as well when it comes to any kind of wire management. Don't use this to make connections, but when it comes to cleaning up your wiring and wire management, this stuff is the truth. So we're gonna tape up. Just tape up the rest of the connections here. Kind of bundle it together. Show you what we got going on here. So from the factory comes down, just kind of got it all just kind of Tesa taped up down to the plug. Got our line out converter tapped into it and everything all kind of nicely neat. We'll plug our speaker back in. Boom. The line out converter, I'm probably gonna secure it up here, either with some, we got some of that snap lock Velcro, or I have those 3M wire management things that can zip tie this thing up to it. And then all we have to do from this point is plug our RCA cables in, route it down to our amplifier. We are done, guys. But I guess while we're in it, I'll show you how I mount this thing up real quick. Let me give you some wire stuff real quick. Give me one sec, guys. I'll bring you with us. So these are the things I was talking about. You got 3M tape on one side, a spot so I can put a zip tie on the other. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put maybe one right here, like so. And we'll take the second one, put it right next to it. Do something like that. So that way they're stuck up there pretty good. Press and hold. Give me 1 sec, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. My apologies. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start this off here. Zip tie up in. We'll start it off. I'll kind of get this lined up how I want it. So there's one. Now the second one. Let's see here. Get it up in. there. What's going on here? I'll give you guys a close up once I get this thing zip tied here, but all I'm doing is just zip tying it. I'll pull this down. Boom, boom, boom. And then let me get my flush cutters. These guys, some nice flush cutters. Make some installers happy. Nobody likes reaching up into something and cutting their hand wide open on a hacked up zip tie that was cut at an angle. So we'll cut it flush. Cut it flush. There you go, guys. So pretty simple. And what we'll do is the RCA cables, mount them on this side. That way we can immediately go right behind this panel. And then depending on what we decide we're mounting the amp, which I think he wants it on the back of the seat. Go route down. We can probably put the extra slack in here, probably find a harness, secure it up, and then run the wire right out to the amplifier. Any questions or anything, absolutely let me know. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks, guys.
Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even